Welcome to the Prescott lab, where science meets the quiet truth about aging like a man. Did you know that a simple mistake in your kitchen might be the real reason your strength, your confidence, your manhood has faded over the years? Most men over 60 believe the problem starts down there, but it actually begins right here in your bloodstream. And here's the shocker. When you mix one ordinary kitchen ingredient with something as natural as lemon, your body can restore blood flow, boost nitric oxide, and reignite the kind of firmness and vitality you thought were gone forever, even if you're 80. My name is Dr. Jonathan Prescott, board-certified urologist, and for more than 30 years, I've helped men across America reclaim their vitality without relying on pills, injections, or embarrassment. I've seen men who thought their best days were over stand taller again, with strength in their stride and pride in their eyes. And today, I'm going to show you how one of the simplest natural discoveries of my career can change how you feel about yourself, starting in your own kitchen. Before we begin, I want you to take one small action, click that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. Not for me, for you. Because every week I share practical, science-backed ways to help you feel younger, more confident, and more alive at any age. And while you're at it, hit that like button not as a favor, but as a promise to yourself. When you press like, I hope 3 things for you: that your heart keeps beating strong for decades to come, that the spark of confidence never leaves your eyes again, and that every new sunrise reminds you you're still very much alive. If this message speaks to you, type 1 in the comments to let me know you're ready to take back your vitality. If you're still unsure, type 0, and I'll make sure future videos speak directly to your doubts. Now, let's begin with the truth every man deserves to understand: why erections fade with age and what your body is really trying to tell you. When you were young, you didn't have to think about it. An erection was as natural as breathing. It just happened. Your arteries opened like clear mountain streams after a rainstorm, blood rushed through without resistance, and your body responded with confidence. That was the rhythm of youth, strong, automatic, effortless. But as the years move on, that rhythm starts to change. The once flexible walls of your arteries begin to stiffen. The channels that carried life now narrow, like an old riverbed losing its depth. Blood doesn't move as freely, and the body's signal, the molecule called nitric oxide, which tells your arteries to relax and open, begins to fade. Without enough of it, the message gets lost. You want to respond, but your body hesitates. And here's the part no one tells men straight: this isn't a moral failure or a matter of willpower. It's chemistry. It's years of quiet buildup from stress, processed foods, long hours sitting, sugar, alcohol, even certain medications. Each small choice leaves residue in your bloodstream, forming a kind of microscopic rust that clogs your inner machinery. When that happens, the body forgets what it used to do so naturally. Erections grow softer, less frequent, and eventually it begins to feel permanent, as though the switch has been turned off for good. But that's the illusion. The body never forgets how to perform, it only needs the right reminder. Once you restore balance in your blood chemistry, lower acidity, improve circulation, and wake up nitric oxide production, that forgotten strength starts to return. I've seen it happen too many times to call it coincidence. So before we talk about how to fix it, we have to look at the humble, overlooked ingredient that quietly holds the key, something sitting in your kitchen right now, waiting to help you remember how alive you still are. Over 3 decades in medicine, I've seen men spend thousands chasing complicated solutions: pills, pumps, injections, supplements that promise miracles, while the real answer sits quietly on a kitchen shelf. Baking soda. Yes, that plain white powder most of us use for cooking, cleaning, or maybe to freshen the fridge. It's so ordinary that men overlook its extraordinary potential. When I first studied it, I was skeptical myself. How could something this simple affect something as complex as male performance? But science has a funny way of humbling even the most experienced doctors. You see, as men age, their blood becomes slightly more acidic. That subtle shift changes everything. It irritates the lining of your blood vessels, damages nitric oxide pathways, and reduces circulation. It's like pouring acid over copper pipes. Eventually, flow slows and pressure builds. Baking soda, sodium bicarbonate, works as a gentle alkalizing agent. It neutralizes excess acid, reduces oxidative stress, and creates a friendlier environment for nitric oxide to do its work. When blood pH rises just slightly, circulation improves, oxygen moves freely, and energy levels lift. Many of my older patients tell me, "Doctor, it feels like my body just woke up." It's not a stimulant. It doesn't force your system to act. It simply restores balance, allowing nature to remember what it once did easily. That's why I often call baking soda a reset button for male chemistry. And yet this is only half the story, because something fascinating happens when you combine baking soda with one other ingredient, something as simple and natural as the juice of a lemon. Together, they don't just clean your kitchen, they clean your bloodstream. Let's talk about that next, and why this little reaction in your glass might be the first step to reawakening your strength as a man. When I first saw what happened when you mix baking soda with fresh lemon juice, I couldn't believe something so simple could hold such power. It fizzes, it bubbles, and most people stop there thinking it's just harmless chemistry. But what's happening inside that glass is far more profound. When lemon juice meets baking soda, they form sodium citrate, a compound that quietly supports blood vessel health, improves circulation, and balances the acid-alkaline system inside your body. Think of it as a small spark that reignites an old engine. That gentle fizz you see in the glass is the start of something far greater, a signal to your body that it's time to wake up. Lemon itself is a treasure of nature. It's rich in vitamin C, potassium, and powerful antioxidants that protect the inner walls of your arteries from inflammation and oxidative stress. Most men never realize that the same citrus they use to flavor fish can also protect their most delicate arteries, including those responsible for erections. But when you combine it with baking soda, something remarkable happens. It becomes a natural cleanser for your blood. This duo reduces acidity, helps the liver flush toxins, and enhances nitric oxide production, the molecule that opens blood vessels and lets oxygen and vitality flow freely again. I remember one of my patients, Edward, age 74, who began drinking this mix every morning. Within a few weeks, he said, "Doctor, it feels like my circulation woke up." His energy improved, his focus sharpened, and his mornings started to feel alive again. Yet what matters most isn't what happens in the glass, it's what happens once that mixture enters your bloodstream. That's where the true transformation begins. Let's take a closer look at what this reaction does inside your body. Quietly, naturally, powerfully. When you drink the simple mix of baking soda, lemon juice, and water, something remarkable begins inside you quietly, without fanfare, like the turning of an invisible key. The reaction starts in your stomach, where the solution neutralizes excess acid. That might sound small, but it sets off a cascade of healing that reaches deep into your bloodstream. First, the baking soda gently alkalizes your internal environment. This gives your blood vessels a break from the constant irritation caused by acidity and inflammation. Your kidneys and liver start clearing waste more efficiently. Blood pressure eases slightly. The circulation that's been sluggish for years begins to open up. Then comes the lemon's contribution, vitamin C and flavonoids that strengthen and protect the lining of your arteries. These nutrients help repair the endothelium, the thin inner surface of blood vessels that controls blood flow and nitric oxide release. When that surface is healthy, blood moves smoothly, oxygen delivery improves, and you begin to feel more energy coursing through your body. Together, these two humble ingredients act like a cleanup crew for your circulatory system. Within days, your chemistry begins to rebalance. Nitric oxide levels rise. Arteries relax. Oxygen-rich blood starts flowing more freely, reaching your brain, your heart, and yes, the parts of your body that define your manhood. You might notice it as a subtle shift, lighter energy, clearer focus, or perhaps that familiar firmness returning in the morning. It's not a miracle, it's memory, your body remembering how to perform the way it was designed to. And the best part, this isn't theory. Real men, ordinary men in their 70s and 80s, have lived this transformation. Let me share their stories next. After 30 years in medicine, I've learned something humbling. Real transformation doesn't come from theories, it comes from men who refuse to give up. Men who try, fail, and try again until they find something that finally works. And the stories I've witnessed over the years remind me why I still love this work. One of my patients, George, age 78, came to me frustrated and ready to quit. He'd spent years trying pills, injections, and expensive supplements. "Doc," he said, "I just want to wake up feeling like myself again." When I suggested something as ordinary as baking soda and lemon, he laughed. But 2 months later, that same man walked into my office with tears in his eyes and said, "Doctor, it happened. I woke up like I used to." It wasn't just about the physical change, it was the return of hope. Then there was Henry, 72, a retired teacher who'd lost confidence in every part of his life. His words still echo in my mind. "I didn't realize how much my body controlled my spirit." After a few weeks of this simple routine plus light walking and better hydration, he said he felt awake again like the fog had lifted. His energy returned and his marriage began to feel alive again. These aren't isolated miracles. They're proof that the male body, even after decades of wear, still remembers how to function when given the right conditions. His age isn't the problem, acid, stress, and neglect are. And here's what most men don't expect. This method actually works better after 60. That's right, the older you are, the more your body responds to it. Let's talk about why. There's a myth that after 60, a man's best days are behind him. I've spent my career disproving that. The truth is, your body doesn't lose its power with age, it simply forgets how to use it. And what this simple mix of baking soda and lemon does is help your body remember. Here's what happens as the decades roll on. Your metabolism slows, your blood becomes more acidic, and your nitric oxide levels drop. That slight acidity quietly corrodes the walls of your blood vessels, like rust creeping through old pipes. It's not dramatic, it's gradual, invisible, and relentless. The kidneys and liver work harder, but toxins linger longer. Circulation weakens, energy fades, and what starts as just getting older slowly becomes a loss of vitality. Now, this is exactly where baking soda and lemon make their mark. The baking soda flushes acid and supports kidney function, while the lemon juice delivers antioxidants and potassium that relax blood vessels. Together, they give your cardiovascular system the reset it's been waiting for. What surprises many men is that the older the system, the stronger the response. When the body has been deprived for years, balance feels like fuel. Within weeks, many report sleeping better, breathing easier, and yes, feeling that natural circulation return again. Your body was built to recover. It's never too late to help it do so. Once balance is restored, nitric oxide production improves, testosterone stabilizes, and energy flows again, not as an illusion, but as a return to your original design. But don't just take my word for it. Let's turn to some of your voices, the questions, doubts, and even the jokes men have shared with me about this mix, and let's answer them one by one. Every week I read through your comments, and I'll be honest, they are my favorite part of this journey. Some make me laugh, some make me think, and others hit me straight in the heart. So today I'm taking a few moments to answer your most common and most honest questions about this baking soda and lemon mix. Question 1, Doctor, this sounds way too simple. How can lemon and baking soda do what pills can't? A fair question. The short answer: pills force the body, nature reminds it. Medications often work temporarily, but they don't fix the underlying chemistry. This mix supports your body's own nitric oxide production, the foundation of blood flow and performance. It's not a shortcut, it's a restoration. Question 2. I tried this for a week and felt dizzy. Am I overdoing it? Probably. Too much baking soda can alter sodium balance. That's why moderation matters. Half a teaspoon. 3 or 4 times per week is enough. Healing isn't a sprint, it's a slow, steady climb. Question 3. My wife says this is placebo. Can you prove her wrong? Tell her this: when nitric oxide rises, arteries expand, blood pressure stabilizes, and oxygen reaches every cell. That's not belief, that's biochemistry. But if she's right and the placebo helps you both smile again, I'll take that victory too. Question 4. At 85, is there still hope for real performance? I've treated men older than that who found their spark again. The body never stops responding to care, it just needs consistency and patience. Hope isn't naive, it's fuel. Question 5. Can women drink this too? Absolutely. The mix supports circulation and detoxification for both men and women. But gentlemen, let's keep today's focus where it belongs, on you and your comeback story. I love hearing from you. And truly, drop your questions below. Type 1 if you've tried it, or 0 if you're still skeptical. Either way, your voice matters here, and your courage to ask is what keeps this community alive. Whenever I talk about natural remedies, I always remind my patients of one thing: the dose makes the difference. Even nature's best tools can become unhelpful if used without respect. This mix of baking soda and lemon is simple, but it must be done right, calmly, consistently, and safely. Here's how. Take half a teaspoon of baking soda, squeeze the juice of half a fresh lemon, and mix it into a glass of room temperature water. Let it fizz for a few seconds. Stir gently and drink it first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. It's that simple. You don't need to drink it daily. 3 to 4 times per week is enough for most men. More isn't better. Your body thrives on rhythm, not excess. Think of it like training. Rest days matter as much as the workout itself. Now, a few important notes. If you have kidney disease, uncontrolled high blood pressure, or you're taking prescription medications, talk to your doctor before starting. Baking soda contains sodium, and some men need to adjust their intake carefully. Most men start feeling subtle changes within a week or two: smoother digestion, lighter energy, clearer focus. Others notice deeper sleep or stronger morning circulation. It doesn't hit like caffeine or medication. It works like nature's slow repair team, restoring what time has thrown off. The key is consistency. You're not forcing a quick reaction. You're teaching your body how to heal again. That's the art of aging well, not fighting time, but working with it. But physical repair is only half the story. The other half lives inside, in how you see yourself, your confidence, your sense of pride as a man. That's what I want to talk about next. After all these years treating men, I can tell you this: most cases of erectile dysfunction aren't just about blood flow, they're about loss of confidence. I've seen the pain behind a man's quiet smile, the way he lowers his voice when talking about intimacy, the frustration of feeling like less than he once was. It isn't just physical, it's emotional, and it's deeply human. When performance fades, men don't just lose function, they lose a piece of identity. The world may call it aging, but to a man, it can feel like invisibility. I've watched marriages go silent, self-esteem crumble, and even the strongest men retreat into isolation. But here's what I tell every patient who sits across from me: you are not broken. You are a man whose body needs balance, not pity. When circulation begins to return, when the blood moves again, when energy stirs, something powerful happens. Shoulders rise, eyes brighten. There's a spark, subtle but unmistakable. I call it the return of dignity. It's that moment when a man looks at himself in the mirror and says, "I'm still here." This is what true recovery means. It's not about youth, it's about presence. When your confidence returns, your body follows. And when you start believing that you can still live, still love, still feel, your biology listens. That's why I never end a consultation with just a recipe or a regimen. As I end it with a reminder, healing is an act of belief. And to keep that belief alive, you need the right habits, small daily choices that keep your blood, mind, and spirit in sync. Let's talk about those next. Every man who comes into my office eventually asks the same question, though most hesitate before saying it out loud. Doctor, do you really think it's possible to feel young again? I always pause before answering, not because I doubt, but because I want them to hear the truth clearly. Yes, absolutely yes, but not through magic, pills, or false promises, through science and through faith in the body's ability to heal. You see, the male body is astonishingly resilient. Even in your 70s or 80s, your arteries can still open, your cells can still produce nitric oxide, and your muscles can still respond to oxygen and movement. Studies show that with even a small increase in nitric oxide, blood vessel flexibility can improve within days. Circulation responds as if the system had been given permission to live again. That's not hope, that's biology rediscovering itself. I've watched men who could barely walk upstairs begin to move with strength again. I've seen men who thought intimacy was over rekindle it, quietly, humbly, beautifully. What changes isn't just the body, it's the man inside it. Hope, it turns out, is a physiological force. When the mind believes recovery is possible, the heart and vessels follow. That's why this journey isn't about chasing youth, it's about restoring rhythm. Baking soda, lemon, and consistency are simply tools. The real healing begins when you start believing that your story isn't finished yet. So as you sit there, maybe sipping your morning mix, I want to leave you with this. Press that like button as a symbol, not for me, but for yourself. Because when you do, I hope three things find their way to you: strength in your heart, peace in your mind, and pride in your reflection. Your best years aren't behind you, my friend. They are waiting for you to claim them.